Apologies, girls, that I'm not in class today, but as I promised, I said we'll go through the assessment task sheet together, just to give you a few kind of insights and some clarification on a few things to help you get started on writing this task or thinking about this task during the holidays. A reminder that the task is due in term 2, week 3. Now, so essentially speaking, this task is requiring you to address only one of the 2 essay questions proposed. Okay, so there are 2 essay questions proposed. One is a practice question and one is a conceptual framework question. Completely up to you which one you want to go with. They are completely different and require a different set of skills and a different way of analyzing artists and artworks. You go with what's your strength, you go with what you feel comfortable with. Another thing to also consider is, as I mentioned before to some girls, and I want to make very clear, you can actually choose any artist that you would like, or any artists that you like. The only one artist that I am asking you not to look at or to do in this particular task is Ricky Swallow. Okay? He's definitely out. You can choose any artist that you have done in the last couple of years, since year 7 even. It's up to you. It doesn't matter, because what this task is really asking you to do is, go with your strengths, and more importantly, do some research, become a more critical thinker. And at the end of the day, like when it comes to critical thinking, you only develop your ideas with people and artworks that you already know well. So I have no qualms about that. And the other reason's also because when you sit there in that HSC exam, it's not like the marker knows whether you learnt about this artist in class or whether you individually learnt about this artist. The marker does not care. The marker is more interested in is what was the question that you were asked in that HSC, and how well have you or able to address that question in regards to the artist or artists that you have chosen. Okay, so let me make that clear. Any artist you like other than Ricky Swallow. Now, as I said to you, as I kind of keep bringing up that idea of artist or artist, now it depends what kind of artist you choose. Some artists are quite prolific and have an enormous kind of skill set or have an incredible acclaim to them and with a number of artworks. So you could write about one artist consistently. And that could work. But at the same token, that's also kind of putting a lot of eggs in one basket. And I'm not saying that it's not possible, but I'm saying you need to make that decision yourself on whether you feel that you have enough with this one artist if you choose to go on. I personally, from my experience and what I've seen with essay writing and as being a HSC marker in the essay section before, I would definitely say minimum of 2 artists. The artworks, that's questionable, right? Because it really depends on what the artworks you choose, what are their strengths and weaknesses. So you could probably choose one artwork by one artist that's quite complex, and you could write a couple of paragraphs on that addresses the question, or you may not be able to do that and you might need to repeat a few more artworks by that one artist. So once again, the very least I would say, I would highly recommend is 2 artists. The number of artworks, that's interchangeable. That really depends on, what the substance is in those artworks and how they best address the question. Okay, so I hope that's nice and clear for you. So one of the requirements is that the length of your response should be no less than 1,200 words and no more than 1,500 words. So failure to comply with this, you will be penalized, and all those penalties are in your student handbook, so make reference to them, please. Important that the size of your text is 12. That makes it much easier for me to read. You need to also understand that your essays will be double marked. All right, so it won't be just I, it will be Mrs. Barbara and I that will be marking them. To make it as easy as possible for us, please, and ensure that you have the size 12 font. If we go here to the task rubric, some points that you really need to understand is what we're really looking for. Now, the task rubric essentially comes from the marking criteria. Now, just a quick idea for you to understand. If I go over here to the marking criteria, I'm sure you would have received this same marking criteria since year 11, because when it comes to essays, there is just one standard marking criteria, and so it's not specific to a question, it is specific to your essay writing skills, okay, and how well you're able to select artists that are suitable for that particular question, and how well you're able to utilize their artworks to help support you in addressing the question. Okay, so if I go back up here to the task rubric, so it says the first point is understand that a response to the visual arts requires a clear answer to the question and provides the framework or context for applying information. Okay, so essentially what that point is saying is that one of the first aims in this particular essay question is that you know what the specifics of that question is, and you understand what the keywords are, you understand what the point that needs to be consistently driven throughout your whole essay. And that's what we've been practicing in class, more of in short response as opposed to a longer essay per se. But that idea of making sure that all the information you present, the artists that you present, the artworks that you present, the examples that you present, the points that you present are all relevant to the question. And that's what you need to do to maintain that A kind of bracket. The relevancy of all the information that you pertain in your essay needs to be consistent and needs to stay within the framework or context of what the question is asking from you. The next point, present a logical, reasoned, and well-informed response. So I'm looking for no general statements. I'm looking for a really nice build-up of reasoning. For instance, point, and I'm looking for a very good explanation of the key ideas that are expressed in that point. And then I'm looking for, facts that support that point. And are these facts that come from statistics, or are they facts that come from supporting quotes from other art critics? Or are they facts that come from, just general information that you've found that support your ideas? I'm really looking for well-supported points and well-explained points, because all the key ideas are well explained as well. And when you do something like that, that's when you present information that's well-informed. So something with substance I'm looking for. The third point, demonstrate the ability to apply your knowledge of an artist or artists as specified by the question's focus, and avoid including unnecessary information. Okay, like I said to you before in many occasions, an A student is constantly concise, constantly relevant, constantly succinct in what they provide to the marker. An A student is also very logical in its explanations, support their explanations, and therefore become more sophisticated and complex in exploring the essay question. So just a reminder, this is the bracket that you want to be in, and these are the key things that you always need to keep in the back of your mind. So when you're writing that essay question, write that paragraph or come up with those points, and then always go back to the essay question and read that essay question and go, have I answered it? Have I done it? If the answer is yes, then continue. If the answer is no, then rethink it. That's the only way that you can practice and become better. And unfortunately, essay writing can be quite, a laborious thing to do. And no one really enjoys sitting down for 45 minutes because that's how long you're given pretty much to write your essay under exam conditions. But at the end of the day, girls, that's what you need to. There's no other way around it. Like there's no kind of magical spell or anything that I'm aware of that will help you get there to refine those skills. So the important thing is, use this opportunity as the opportunity to refine your essay writing skills, for you to understand these artists really well, to understand the artworks really well. Because potentially, girls, if you do well in this essay and you understand these artists extremely well, then you can repeat, essence of your essay in your trials and then in your HSC and get better as you go. I'm not here in the business to make life hard for you. I'm here to help you, do the best you possibly can in your HSC with your knowledge and with your skills, and to constantly push you in that sense. So another quick brief look at the essay marking criteria, which I'm sure you have heard over and over again, and I know some of these things I'm just going to keep repeating because I can't really express how important these things are. But just a few things that maybe are new and that I can kind of express some new light on. So the first point, a coherent, sustained, and well-reasoned point of view is presented, which acknowledges various possible interpretations. Now, this idea of acknowledges various possible interpretation, the best way to achieve that is to take 100% ownership of your knowledge and to take 100% ownership of the opinions that you develop about these artworks, finding your voice. And that's where I kind of really want you to go with these artworks. Yes, there are, things that are written out there about particular artists that are formulae, that are, things that we hear over and over again. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you have your own opinion about these artworks and you can support these opinions in the artworks, that's when we're talking about acknowledges various possible interpretations. Even if it comes from your own experiences and how you look at a particular subject matter and how it kind of transcends into your world, use that. That's, you are very much a critic, just like everyone else is. And at the end of the day, you need to, your success in having your opinion comes from your ability to support your ideas. So then that comes back here to all aspects of the content are comprehensively explained and interpreted in relation to the question. So your research, I cannot express the importance of having facts and statistics and references to historical events, social events and whatnot, or historical changes in the world, thorough explanations of the industrialized world, the effects of technology such as the camera, the invention of the working class, things like that, the bourgeois, those kind of keywords and those kind of substantial kind of background